Brad Leavitt, president of AFT Construction. Welcome to our YouTube channel today. And if you're into architecture, design, construction, or even owning a small business, this is the channel for you. So make sure and hit that subscribe because we're going to be giving out a lot of information to help your business. So here we are back on the YouTube channel today. And one of the questions asked was, can you negotiate the total cost of construction or the sales price with your builder? And that's a great question actually, and I think it's a smart one to ask, especially for anyone that's considering either building a custom home or buying a home. And I think there are a lot of variables to that question. You know, I can only answer that for me as a builder. And so, you know, when you look at cost of construction, there's a lot of variables there. And whether the builder's a production builder, you know, there may be some avenues of cost savings, you know, because maybe the lot's not as good and they might discount that. And again, that's their business. I don't really, you know, I'm not involved as the owner of a production business, but I can speak to if I had a client come into me and say, hey, Brad, can we negotiate the price? Very difficult. You know, I can say with us, we always put our best foot forward. Even if I'm under contract and it's negotiated work or someone's having me bid off the street, we always give our best price, best on the best subs, availability, best pricing in the market, and there's not fluff there. And so it's really tough to negotiate that because we're limited by how expensive material is. So just as the client's trying to negotiate with me, we're trying to negotiate with our vendors, you know, but at the end of the day, if a Sub-Zero Wolf range is X dollars and I'm paying Y dollars, I'm only charging my company Y. There's not a lot of deviation there. And we have great pricing, you know, with our vendors. And so a lot of that's because of social media, our reputation, and things we've done to build our brand. So for me, there's not really negotiation. What you would have to look at with the builder is that as far as cost of goods, you know, concrete, framing, appliances, cabinetry, you know, these things are really hard to change and negotiate down. No matter how good of a negotiator you are, there's not a lot of margin there because a company, especially on a custom home, they're looking at how many trip charges they have to make in labor, and it's hard to quantify labor that early in the construction process. And if they negotiate too heavy and give too much of a discount, they could end up paying you to do their project, which is what they don't want to do. But the way I look at it is maybe economies of scale. And I've had clients come to me at pre-construction and say, okay, Brad, well, if I were to hire you to build this scatter lot home, my house in Scottsdale, you're going to charge me X%. But if you're doing my sibling's house and my house together, and we're next door to each other, would you offer a discount? In that case, when I talk economies of scale, there's actually value there because I can now have less commute time, less trip charges. You may have the same electrician on both homes, so they have less trip charges, they can work on both. So in that instance, if we're building both homes simultaneously and there's economies of scale, which means I can do this in bulk per se, then yes, I can adjust that fee because I have less exposure, I have less time, less commute, less overhead, and maybe I can allocate resources differently. And so that's where I'm open with my clients. You know, where I can, I try to save them money. I try to help them VE. For those of you that haven't heard that term, that's value engineer. And that's where maybe we find like kind materials, like products that are similar but less expensive. And so it's not so much a negotiation as it is working in their behalf. Where we may see something and give the client the option, hey, if we do X, Y, and Z, we can save $10,000. And some clients may say, yes, we want to do that, or no, we don't. Or maybe we delete certain features on the home or change them or create something different. I know one of our areas where it's not restricted by the HOA, we had a client that a lot of the house was wrapped in limestone and it was extremely expensive, as limestone is. And the client had asked how we could save money. Well, you know, in some of the details that are on the side of the home and rear of the home that are not really seen, we opted to go with the stucco detail that looks like limestone, but it's stucco. And then in the main feature areas, you know, around the pool and in the front of the home, we use limestone. So that's where we can get creative with our client. So when I say negotiable, it's not that we're discounting the price, but we're finding alternative ways to build the home or to have specifications in the home that now allow the client to have the best value, best savings. And again, there is opportunity, I would say, with the fee. When you are doing economies of scale, there is value there, and so ask the question. So to determine that, when we think about the cost of a home, there's actually some specifics to think about. We talk about that it's really difficult to negotiate on the total price, but as far as finding alternatives, there's a lot of options out there. And there's other things to consider too. So when you're thinking about a kitchen, a lot of our clients, they love that marble look. They want a real natural looking marble. That's great, marble looks really good. You put it on the island, you put it on a feature wall, maybe the fireplace wall. It looks really good, maybe the master shower. But one thing to think of is the preventive care and maintenance, right? So, this is a product that is porous, has to be sealed. There's a lot of, so you have additional fees, not only the product, but now you have to pay a third party company to come in and seal it and protect it and then return next year and do the same, because you have maybe acids or makeup or food, and some of these things can become, detrimental to the health and care of the marble. Well, then there's some options with engineered quartz. And there's always going to be some sacrifices. Maybe the natural stones and engineered quartz, although it's come a long way, in some product lines it's not as close. In other product lines it's very close and dead on. Porcelain's the same. And so we look with clients, right now there's some marble product that our client wants on their master bathroom floor. And because of the cost, we can find a porcelain that looks almost identical. It's a complete match for about a third the price. And this is where it's important for the client to think about, well, if it's porcelain, not only am I saving a third the price on the product itself, but there's zero maintenance, right? I have the grout that I have to take care of and maybe seal, but I don't have to worry about sealing the porcelain. And so that's where it's advantageous, as you're looking at exterior finishes, as I mentioned, whether limestone or precast or stucco, I know there's a lot of PVC products out there in other parts of the country. There's a lot of alternatives, So if you're looking at natural wood, here in Phoenix, a lot of people have natural wood designs. Well, problem with natural wood is it looks great when you first install it, but in a year from now, because it's so hot out here and so dry, that wood will turn and warp, and with the humidity as it rains in the monsoon and then gets hot, and so there's a lot of maintenance and to restain it because the sun just beats on it. And so you can think, well, can I do like a composite material that is going to have less maintenance, and it may be the same cost up front, but I'm not going to have to maintain it 3 years from now or 5 years from now. And so that's where you can start looking at the cost savings, or the headache, if you will, of the house. On a big home of 6 bathrooms, how much maintenance do you want to have on the house? So these are things to look at: the products, the application, the preventative care, the maintenance, the callbacks, the warranty. Take that into consideration, because it may seem cheaper on paper up front, but at the end of the day, it could cost you more money.